Hey yo, Mark here for Mark's Max Muscle. And today I'm going to be doing a follow-up video on the 8 mandatory poses. We're going to take a look at all the winners and then take a look at some of the bodybuilders that appeared more often than not. And for those guys, it's definitely a sign that they have little to no weaknesses. After that, we're going to do a little bit of a special feature. What I did was compiled all of the 8 mandatory poses using pictures of people that I know personally. So it should get pretty interesting. And without further ado, let's get started. And here are my 8 champions, one for each pose. Of course, Arnold Schwarzenegger was my front double bicep champion. He only had one challenger for this pose, so Charles Claremont takes the runner-up for this one. Next we got Ronnie Coleman, who took the most muscular title. Honorable mention goes to Lou Ferrigno and Brutal Bertile Fox. Let's move on to Dorian Yates. He placed first in the front lat spread. He was challenged by Jim Haslip, Sergio Oliva, and Robbie Robinson. Now on to Paul DeMea. He was actually unchallenged in the side tricep pose, and was actually the first champion on my list not to be an Olympia winner. So that says a lot about Paul DeMea. Let's move on to Samir Banu and the rear double bicep. I went with Banu on this one because, well, I feel he's the most complete, and he was very aesthetically pleasing as well. In this one, Samir placed ahead of Dorian Yates, Ronnie Coleman, and the current IFBB Mr. Olympia champion, Phil Heath. Notice everyone mentioned here has won the Olympia title at least once. That just goes to show you the importance of the back development in the sport. Sean Ray battled his way to win the ab and thigh. I didn't know who to pick for this one, to be honest, so it really could have went either way. Serge Nubret, Frank Zane, and Thierry Postel were the 3 other finalists. Franco Columbu made his way to the rear lat spread title through political means. This is of course in reflection to the 1981 Mr. Olympia event, but I digress. The actual finalists in this one were Sergio Oliva, Big Jean-Baudin Pierre Fuchs, Ronnie Coleman, and the current IFBB Mr. Olympia, Phil Heath. Had it not went the way of the Sardinian strongman, I believe Ronnie Coleman or Phil Heath would have taken the title. Robbie Robinson finally earned a title in the side chest pose. Robbie came close in the front double bicep, the front and rear lat spreads, so I was glad to finally award him a title. His challengers included Brutal Bertile Fox, Kevin Levrone, and Big Ramy Mamdouh Elsbaye. Of course, in reflection, I completely forgot to add one Art Atwood, who is perhaps one of the greatest ever in the side chest pose, so I definitely thought it fair to mention his name. However, Robbie Robinson will remain my Mark's Max Muscle side chest champion. So there you have it, my 8 mandatory pose champions. And now, it's time for the main event. And here it is, The 8 mandatory poses, done completely with people that I know personally. Of course, we're going to start off with the front double bicep. Here we have Tommy Two Guns, a friend of mine for a few years now. They call him Tommy Two Guns for a reason. Just check out those 2 guns. I think they should have called him 3 guns. But anyway, on to the most muscular. Here's a friend of mine and also a professional wrestler. He wrestles under the moniker Dazzling Dick Durning. It's a tremendous physique. Of course, this guy's a natural lifter. Next, we got the front lat spread. Another professional wrestler. Of course, over the years, I became friends with many pro wrestlers. It's a pretty impressive front lat spread here. And just check out the lag development of this guy. Genetically speaking, he could have been a force to be reckoned with on a natural bodybuilding stage. Here's the side tricep pose, and another friend of mine by the name of Josh. This guy's actually training for a natural bodybuilding show coming up, so he's in rare form, no doubt. Perhaps a little bit better quality than some of the other competitors that you're going to see on this list. Anyway, on to the rear double bicep. And it looks like we have our first repeat poser in this list. This is, once again, Barstool Bailey. And you can see what I meant about him being a force to be reckoned with on the natural bodybuilding stage. It's a very impressive back development on this guy. Of course, he's always doing those heavy deadlifts. Next, we got the ab and thigh pose. And yet again, another repeat poser here. But this will be the last. This is, of course, my friend Josh. And like I said, he is now getting ready for a bodybuilding show coming up. So he's always staying in rare form. And I believe after his show, I'll be doing a bit of a profile on him. So you're definitely going to want to keep an eye out for that one. Now, onto the rear lat spread. I did cheat a little bit for this one. This is, of course, John Hart, a natural bodybuilding champion. Now, I never met John in person, but I have been in contact with him, and I must say, he is quite a friendly fellow. And I do consider him my YouTube trainer. And if you haven't subscribed to his channel, I urge you to, because you're definitely missing out on a goldmine of information. I'll go ahead and leave a link to his channel in the description below. But on to the side chest pose. And yet again, another professional wrestler friend of mine. This is Wesley Pipes. And of course, he does have some pipes. But another thing that he does possess is a very well-developed pectoral region. This, of course, makes him the side chest champion in this one. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. All of the 8 mandatory poses done completely with people that I know. A special thanks goes to Tommy Two Guns, Dazzling Dick, Barstool Bailey, Josh, John Hart, and of course, Wesley Pipes. Because without them, this list would not have been possible. And of course, with friends like these, it's definitely some encouragement for me to get to the gym as much as I can. So, an extra special thanks to all these guys. Well, that about does it for that one. My next video in this series will be devoted to the front relaxed pose, so keep a lookout for that one. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe if you did. And that's it for now. This is Mark for Mark's Max Muscle.